Hi everyone, Mon here. Welcome to the channel, and the channel is called Intuitive Soul Savant. So welcome back to the subscribers, and welcome if you're new here. You can pop into the description box and my details are in there. I do consultations. So if you're looking to do a soul growth consultation, we go very deep, face to face, on Zoom, of course. I'm open. I have spots available. Okay, here we are. Now, this morning we had a very interesting, strong aspect with the Sun and Uranus. And I will also pop the Sun conjunct Uranus video that I made on Monday. I'll pop that into the description box, okay? And we spoke a little bit about that last week. So that was early this morning here in Sydney, so it's already become exact. In my meditation this morning, I very much felt the Sun's energy. I'm very connected to the Sun with a Leo rising. Of course, we all are connected to the Sun. The Sun is our power. The Sun is our warmth. The Sun is our light. And the Sun is also our food. So the Sun is very important to us mere humans here. So that was at just after midnight here, Sydney time. So that would have been Friday for you guys. It's Saturday here, the 23rd of May we're in, yes. So there's another aspect, Venus in Cancer squaring Neptune in Aries. So that was yesterday, okay? So that is still, that energy is still in orb, the Venus square the Neptune, okay, which I did describe simply as, relationship versus our higher self. With Neptune in Aries. Aries is the self. Neptune I would take to the higher self. Okay, so we've got lots of deep work still that we're doing. This week, the nodes are activated. And I believe next week and the week after, the nodes are activated because coming up, and I'll let you know, is Uranus square the notes. Okay, so I'm going to make a separate video for that Monday week. Okay, and then I'm going away for a couple of weeks. So today we've had the Sun conjunct Uranus early this morning Sydney time, and that's at 1 degrees 31 minutes. Okay, so the Sun moves quickly, a degree every day. We know that. So this won't be in orb for a long time. But yes, it's big energy. Definitely big energy. It's the first time that Sun conjunct Uranus in Gemini. And another warning with all of this new energy in Gemini, as well as Mercury, with the Sun, with Sedna. I have a video about Sedna. Sedna is early degrees of Gemini, and I made a whole video about that over a year ago. So I might pop that into the description box just to remind you of the energies around Sedna, because Sedna will be in Gemini for a fairly long time as well. So also early this morning Sydney time, which would be Friday for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, we had Mercury in Gemini sextiling Saturn in Aries. All right, so this today, I mean, it has been exact, but today, this is a good day to put your mind to some sort of discipline, even discipline of the self. Saturn in Aries, the self, deciding with the mind that you may do some meditation, because with meditation, it requires discipline, okay? And we can always talk ourselves out of it. There's no doubt about that. Until you get to a point where you know that you cannot live your day without meditating. And that's a great feeling, and that's where I'm at. And it's beautiful to get to that point where you know that the meditation is so beneficial on a day-to-day basis that you can't help but not meditate, almost like an addiction. Because you're raising your frequency, okay? You're going within your body. You're in the now moment. Yes, it does take practice. There's no doubt about it. It takes practice to have the focus, the mind, Gemini, which is very busy mind, isn't it? To have your attention on your breath. And all the mind does in the beginning is it wants to run off, okay? And we just bring our focus, attention back to the breath. And it doesn't take long. After a couple of weeks of doing that daily, the mind slows right down. And in these times of digital expansion, we really need to keep a grasp on our own minds and not let or allow our minds to be mastered by the powers that want to be. All right, so that's Mercury in Gemini sextiling Saturn. We'll have that energy around for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, as Mercury also is moving very fast through Gemini. Also, this morning we had Venus trine the nodes. Okay, so that's a nice, easy energy for relationships. I would love today, if I am in relationship, to be in a relationship with those that vibrate same frequency as me. Okay, with the North Node in Pisces. We are still having those nodes in the Pisces Virgo, those two signs, and those with Saturn in Pisces, they've finished their return of Saturn, but we're still being reminded by the nodes of the moon, South Node in Virgo, that overdoing, workaholism, perfectionism, all of those energies that are the shadow of Virgo. However, with Venus trining the nodes, there's some sweet energy there for releasing or for integrating our spiritual practices, you could say, with others, with friends, having a nice lunch, sitting around, talking about higher awareness rather than the mundane awareness. Okay, so that's a lovely energy for today, along with the Mercury in Gemini sextile Saturn, another lovely energy. And just the intense was the Sun conjunct Uranus. Okay, and it'll depend on your chart what goes on there. I haven't felt anything. I just don't anymore. Nothing bothers me anymore. And probably because I keep my energy very clean these days. It's the only way that I can move forward. Okay. And I love it. I love my own energy. And, this is where we're all going to get to eventually. So that is today. But that has already, as I make this video, it's already become exact. Okay. So Sunday here, Sydney time, we have Mars in Taurus sextiling the nodes. Okay, so I said the nodes are very active this week and next week because the planets are in early degrees, all right, of new signs. So Mars has entered into Taurus and we can slow down a little bit now, and it will sextile those nodes at 4 degrees 41 minutes. So that's where the nodes are. North Node Pisces, 4 degrees 41. South Node Virgo, 4 degrees 41. So Mars is activating those nodes today. So that's on Sunday, tomorrow, okay? And the next day. So, my sort of thinking about that and advice about that is to do the spiritual practices and lose the perfectionism and the workaholism and the must-dos, okay? So there's Mars activating those nodes with a sextile. All right, and the same day, tomorrow, Sunday, lunchtime here, so it'll be either early in the morning, Saturday for you guys. We have the Sun sextile that retrograde Neptune in Aries, so the Sun in Gemini. We've got a lovely, see, tomorrow's lovely. This whole weekend has got some great energy for doing something for ourselves, okay? Comforting ourselves, raising our frequency, our vibrational energy, moving towards that North Node and losing the shadow side of the Virgo energies. And this is for everybody, okay? We are all one. And with the nodes, the North Node is where we should be looking to improve, better ourselves, to move forward spiritually with that North Node in Pisces. And with compassion, that's another key word for Pisces is compassion. And if you're an old soul, you'll know that, that's what we have to bring after the shadow and the pain and the wounds from our ancestors. Once we've done all that shadow work, there's compassion to bring to humanity. And it's a lot easier when we're not hurting within to bring compassion to others. However, it's those pains and those hurts that we have had that we can look upon another and identify with compassion the pain that somebody else is going through. Okay, so that's Sunday here, Saturday, Northern Hemisphere. So it's a lovely weekend, really lovely energy to meditate, to do yoga, to read a book, very Virgo energy to read a book, and just lose that human perfection energy of having to have it right, going too far, workaholism, okay? Because all of those shadow energies of Virgo are just pulling the veil down and hiding from that beautiful light of the Pisces energy, right? Sorry, I've made a mistake. So it's not Sunday here, it's Monday. There's no aspects tomorrow. So we'll continue with the trining of the nodes from Venus and Mercury sextiling Saturn. And then on Monday, the Mars sextiles the nodes. Sorry, there's no aspects here on Sunday. But, we're sort of 15, 16 hours difference between where I'm at and a lot of the subscribers, okay? So I try to get the times for you. But as we know, aspects can be in effect for 2 to 3 days. So it's all energy that we're talking about here. It doesn't have to be specific to the days. Energy comes in, energy is released, and it depends on how open you are as to when you will feel new energies. Okay, like a full moon or a new moon, if it's aspecting my chart strongly, I feel it over a week before. I've usually got the energy processed at least 3 days before the actual event, and the work's done. The work's done then. But, I'm quite open to the energies, working with them for over 40 years. So, we get better. We get better at astrology. We get more intuitive. And we're able to feel these energies with a lot of clarity. All right, so that's Monday, that Mars sextiles the nodes and the Sun sextiles the retrograde Neptune. All right, so we've got sextiles and trines there for Saturday through Sunday and Monday. And then we get to Tuesday, and the Sun in Gemini then squares those nodes at 4 degrees 39 minutes. So if you head towards that shadow, or you don't head towards that shadow when the energy was kind with the sextile and the trine, here comes that Sun to shine a light and square, to challenge the nodes, to challenge us with the nodes. Okay, so then the same day, Tuesday, Mars is squaring Pluto, right? And that will be early in the morning, Northern Hemisphere for you guys. And that is a big aspect. That's a harsh aspect, and it can go a lot of ways. You know, Mars, is activating. It's that first square after conjuncting Pluto. So it is a cycle of time. All right. We know Pluto is death and transformation and all of that, cleaning up that shadow work. And Mars is the energy and the power to move forward with that. So even though it is a square, it is good work. And you know what we say in astrology, the trines and the sextiles is easy. You could almost not even notice them. But with the squares and the oppositions and the conjunctions, we call them challenging. However, they demand action, and Mars is demanding action, squaring Pluto in Aquarius. All right. So that would tell me that with the Pluto in Aquarius, which is the collective, all of us, there may be some argy-bargy that goes on with the powers that want to be, and what we actually see in the media and what have you. You see, I don't watch it. But if something's going on, I'm sure whatever I need to know comes to me, okay, without me even looking, and that's very comfortable. Yep, so that's Tuesday. The Sun squaring the nodes and Mars squaring Pluto. Action for change, because Pluto, it's death. Transformation is change. Changing from one thing to another thing, okay? So there is work to be done around those two squares on Tuesday, all right? And especially if you are an Aquarian, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, around, if you've got any placements, around 5.5 degrees, giving a few degrees either side for the orb, but I disagree with all of that. And in my experience, when you are open to energy, you can, even if you are late degrees of those fixed signs, you could be feeling the energy. And because it's the collective, well, we all are in that pool, okay? More so the fixed signs, okay, because it's personal to them, very personal. All right, so that's Tuesday. So there's a little bit of bit uncomfortability there, but uncomfortability comes before we do the work and process. It's all about processing, okay? I hope by now that we've moved away from pulling the veil down with addictions and busyness and busybodiness, getting into other people's lives. We're ready for this work on this channel for sure. So Wednesday, we're back to a lovely trine, and that's that Sun in Gemini is going to trine Pluto. So do the work, and the very next day there will be some peace, because the Sun will then be shining and bringing warmth and energy if you went through that work. Okay, so if you're going through any work with Pluto, it's shadow work, it's dark night of the soul energy. So for the Sun to come out in Gemini and clear the mind, Sun in Gemini, because, processing starts in the mind, and the body and the unconscious of the subconscious mind, okay? So on Wednesday, we'll have a lovely aspect. It'll be early in the morning, Wednesday, Tuesday for the Northern Hemisphere, the Sun in Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius. So if we've had bad news about the whole on Tuesday, there may be light at the end of the tunnel or a silver lining, the day after we've done that processing. All right. Now, Thursday, there's no aspects here. Friday, that's Sun trining Pluto, 5 degrees, 25 minutes. The same as Mars squaring Pluto, so it's exactly at that degree. Mars takes some action into the shadow work for you as an individual, even though Pluto in Aquarius is the collective. It's individuality, individuation, right? It is. If you know Aquarians, they're real individuals, and that's the way they like it. And that's the message to the rest of us, that we're all individuals and we should accept each other and love each other and not judge each other, right? That is the message, is to own your individuality, everyone to own their individuality, and leave each other alone. Difference is the key. We are all very, very different. However, we haven't owned our differences because we've tried to please others and stay in a clique, but that does not grow you. It does not grow you as a spirit soul being. All right. So Thursday, no aspects here. Friday, Venus in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. Okay. Here we're back to that Venus and Aries. Venus in relationship, in love, in all of the beautiful, nice, comfortable feelings, luxurious sort of energy, okay? And it's squaring Saturn in Aries. Saturn is in Aries to discipline the self, disciplining the self, to become grounded in the self. There's restriction there with the self because there's work to be done. New cycle for Saturn starts with the baby Aries, okay? And that is the I am presence, the self. And so after leaving Pisces and the spirituality, we continue that work with Saturn in Aries, right? We continue it and ground it back to individuation again, to own ourselves. Saturn is there to discipline and to bring to earth and to make structure for the self. Okay, so with Venus in Cancer, you know, that is the nurturing energy, Cancer. But here we're being asked to nurture ourself with the square. All right. Not just nurture the family, not just nurture the friend group, Venus, the family, Cancer. You know, squaring Saturn in Aries, it's to do the same for the self, all right, which is the balance of Venus, balancing that energy of giving to others and giving to the self, okay, so that we are in balance. Yeah. So next Saturday, I will be back. On Monday, I will make a video regarding the full moon in Sagittarius. That won't be until the 31st of this month. Yeah, early Sunday morning it may be for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. Early evening for us on the Sunday, not tomorrow, the next Sunday. So I'll make that video on Monday about the full moon. That full moon is exactly conjuncting my natal moon in tropical Sagittarius. Yeah, so that will be interesting to see what's on top within me, you know, emotionally. So we'll see what comes along this next week for that. And if nothing really happens and I have a full moon on my natal moon, well, that would be weird, I would imagine, exact, you know. But anyway, enough about me. All right, everybody, I don't ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself. All right, I walk my talk, you could say. But I love doing these videos. If you'd like a reading, please get in touch with me. I have another channel called The Soul Savant, and that is all about enlightenment and my experiences. You know, won't say any more about that. Pop over. There's no astrology in those videos. They're very, I just speak about it, my experience. Okay. So I love you all. Thank you for watching. Please pop a comment in, like, subscribe, the algorithms, you know, and we're creeping up, maybe 5 more viewers every week. It's slow, but I'm not marketing. This is just attraction. That's what I work on, and that's what my higher self has told me to work on, attraction. Those that need to see these videos will see it, but with you guys liking and subscribing, more people have that opportunity. So I love you all. I thank you all, and I will see you on Monday. Okay, and take care. Have a lovely weekend with the trines and the sextiles. Bye.